Are you a Jiu Jitsu school learner that has about 100 students, maybe about 150, and you're not able to pay yourself well, and you have a hard time paying rent? You want to grow, you want to add more classes, you don't have enough instructors, and things are not going the way that you've planned. Then this video is for you. My name is Hernando. I'm a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. I have owned my school for over 6 years. I've been in the Jiu Jitsu space for almost 20 years. And I'm gonna go ahead and break down the 7 mistakes that almost put me out of business. So stay tuned all the way to the end, because the 7th tip is something you can put into practice right away. First one, it's us growing too fast. We started our academy here in Post Falls, Idaho during COVID, and it was crazy. We blew up. Why? Because we're in the edge of Washington and Idaho. So Washington was closed down during COVID, and we were open right away as of May of 2020. So if you can kind of think that people were driving all the way from Washington, Spokane, all the way to come see us almost an hour away because we were open. So we blew up, right? It was fast, a lot of money coming in. We didn't have enough people to help us. So what did we start doing? We started spending money on areas that didn't need to. We moved into a bigger facility. We brought in people that maybe shouldn't have been teaching. We brought in people to work the front desk, and it was a mess. So making sure growing too fast sometimes is not a blessing, it's a curse. Number 2, no curriculum. So as a Jiu Jitsu black belt, I originally came from Gracie, Baja, from purple belt to brown belt, and I was part of another affiliation when I got my black belt, and this affiliation did not have a structured curriculum. So guess what? I had to kind of create everything on my own. And after a while, I ran out of things to teach. So when I started teaching classes, my students, I noticed, had holes in their game. And I was still growing as a black belt, but the reality is my beginners just needed to know how to do shrimp escapes. All they had to do were trap and rolls. So not having a structured curriculum is gonna have your students come right in, right? Do a couple classes and leave through the back door. You need a sticky curriculum, basics, if you're gonna teach beginners. Your number 1 client on the adult section are white belts, not the colored belts, they're the white belts. So having them roll the first time is a horrible idea. And we've had, if I count all the leads and everyone that's come in, and it's been about over 6 years, we've probably had 12,000 people in a small town of 40,000 inquire about our service to this day. So making sure I have a sticky, structured curriculum. Not only that, like if you can't come in because you're either exhausted, you're tired, you're burnt out, or you're sick, you need a solid assistant instructor that can take over teaching the curriculum for the day. So for us, it took us a long time to get there, but now I know exactly what my instructors are teaching when I'm not teaching. I know exactly the class, and I know exactly the curriculum, and exactly how they're gonna teach and how they're gonna facilitate the class, and how they're gonna be able to transfer what they know to the client with the same verbiage as we do. You need a structured curriculum. We follow Gracie University. We've joined Henner and Hito and Gracie, and they have a structured curriculum. So the link is below if you want to go ahead and jump on, learn more about their certified training centers. Number 3, the rent is too high. Overhead is too high. That was our mistake going into this. So when we first started back in May of 2020, we just started with about 3,000 square feet right behind us, right behind these mirrors right now. 3,000 square feet. And the rent was about $3 grand. Pretty affordable, especially first starting off. But then what happened was we kept growing. My wife was running a fitness program. She's also a Jiu Jitsu black belt, but she was running a fitness program, and in the height of COVID, that's what people were signing up for. Not Jiu Jitsu, they were signing up for fitness, for cardio kickboxing and fitness. They were signing up for Jiu Jitsu too, but we needed a bigger space right away. And since I got excited and a lot of people coming in, I was just like, we need more space. And the majority of the brand new schools think they need more space. And that's the wrong idea. And I can tell you from that, from my personal experience, from losing a lot of money and growing too quickly, and thank God we're still alive here in Idaho, is growing too fast, right? And your rent is just too high. So we moved into this spot right here, which is another 3,000 square feet. So brought us to about 6,000. So our rent came up to about 6,000, and we didn't have 200 students. We had maybe like 100 students, right? But because classes were so packed and people were complaining, I should have just stayed disciplined and know that the COVID thing was just, you know, a blimp that was gonna pop like a balloon, right? And then after that, right, going the other direction, in April of 2021, our neighbor wanted to move out, so I took over his spot. That's 1,800 square feet. So all of this is 8,000 square feet. And right now, making this video, we're in February of 2026. I was paying over $8,000 to this day of rent. It snows here, snow plow bill. Summertime, landscaping, almost 10 grand a month sometimes, and we have about 300 students. That's a lot of overhead. So your overhead is gonna kill you, literally, if you don't get that under control. So on the making of this video, we actually downsized, and right behind us, we subleased it to a gym that's gonna come in. So now we went from 8,000 square feet to about 4,500. Think about that. 4,500 square feet, that's still a lot of square footage. I got showers in the 1,800 square feet. We got big changing rooms, front desk. Here, this is our mat. And this is, you're looking about like 1,100, 1,200 square feet of mat. That is plenty. That was plenty. You don't need more mat space if you structure your school correctly. So drop that overhead. If you got a downside, trust me, that killed my ego. It really did. Humble pie of having to shrink my facility. But no students have left. Actually, people love it. It's very cozy. And we believe that this was God's will for us to really downsize and consolidate so that we can stack our cash so that one day, God willing, we can buy our own building. Number 4 is not knowing your finances. You gotta know where you're going. You gotta know how much you're gonna make that month, right? You can go back, if you have a CRM like Gymdesk, the link is below. That's our affiliate link. So if you wanna check out a CRM, Gymdesk, fantastic. We've used other ones along the way. I think they're the best ones. They're made by Jiu Jitsu people, so you'll like them. So gotta know your numbers. You can literally go back 3 months, you can go back a year, you can see patterns. Okay, don't always rely on that month of it being slow or the last month. Get the overall 90 days and divide that up, and then now you know exactly how much you're gonna make that month. Yes, you're gonna have some people cancel, then you're gonna have new students coming in. But for us, my wife and I, she's fantastic with the numbers. She's got it down to the T, right? But we had to learn the hard way. We did old school pen and paper, and at the end of the month, to pay $8,000 per month, plus payroll, plus ad spend, every month, there was a time where we needed $25,000 by the end of the month, and it was a week away. My wife and I, we grinded and we sold memberships and we got it done. But just living like that, imagine as a black belt, teaching classes and knowing that you still have to get new students to come in is unsustainable. It might be good for a season if you're building your school, but year 1, 2, 3, 4, it starts to get old. And if you really love Jiu Jitsu like I do and just want to teach, and that's all you want to do is share the arts with everyone, you're gonna burn out real quick. And I actually did. So gotta know where you're going. How much are your numbers? How much you might be paying like on subscriptions that you don't need. Just random stupid stuff that you need to go back and cancel. Do you really need all those instructors? Do we really need to spend so much money on ad spend and marketing? Maybe, maybe not. For us, I believe we have it down to a T now, and we know exactly how much is being spent on ad spend, how much it is per client. How much did it cost me per client? The acquisition of that client. You gotta know all those numbers so that at the end of the month, you're not like, man, I gotta borrow some money just to pay some rent. And I've been there before. Wow, I gotta take out a loan just to make payroll. I've been there before. So take it from me. Know your numbers ahead of time, and we put it on a spreadsheet and we know exactly what is being paid for what. Number 5, making changes too fast. I am the culprit of this one. I love making changes. So one thing about COVID has taught me is to pivot. right away. So making changes might be fun for you. Ready, fire, aim, right? So make sure they're slow. When you steer a cruise ship, it can't be fast. It's got to be slow. It's got to be slow. Okay? No one likes change. We think people like change. Nobody likes change, especially experienced jiu-jitsu people. They don't like change. They like the way the things they are, and I could be like that sometimes. So for us, we went from John Jacques Machado to Easton to Gracie University. We've also added after school and summer camp programs. And I've learned that if you make changes too fast, people don't know where you're going and they think you're unstable. People have thought I'm unstable, and I'm just excited. A new change, new shiny toy, let's do it. But my heart is always to make the product better, is always to make it better for the client, right? And even though that's my heart, people might not see that. So start slow. So right away, when we went to gracieuniversity.com and joined Enter as certified training centers, I did kind of do it too quickly, but I felt like it was needed. We went from a sports school to self-defense. We believe that jiu-jitsu is our mission field, and by having people hurt and having white belts roll right off the bat is going to have them quit. So we had to implement Gracie Combatives right away just to retain more new students. And could I have done things differently? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm glad that we made the change, but we did lose some people along the way. So if you're going to make changes from adding a beginner class, maybe an after-school program or a summer camp, make sure it's done slowly, because anytime you implement something new, the culture has to change. And some people are going to follow you and some people are going to leave. And that hurt me a lot. So slow down on the changes. Number 6, hiring anybody. So your school is growing. You feel like, man, I need extra help. I can't teach classes 7 hours a day. I can't blame you. I've done it. It's exhausting. It becomes a job. It's not your passion anymore. So you're going to need some help. Maybe you don't want to teach kids classes. By the way, teaching kids is actually very rewarding. I don't teach a lot of them, I'll be quite honest, because I've done it a lot. And I have a solid instructor. His name is Isaac. He's fantastic with the kids. He loves the kids. But you're going to have to hire help. Right? You might have to hire, the first thing is going to be your front desk, because while you're teaching classes, you're not going to be able to answer those calls, and those calls will go to your competitor. So be able to hire someone right away for the front desk. But slow down. The first impression is going to be your front desk. So if you just hire anybody, let's just say a mom that brings her kids and can't afford membership, and you put her in the front desk without proper training, maybe she's a little rough around the edges, that's going to cost you money. That's not going to help you. That's going to cost you money. We have an extensive training process that we've learned along the way. It takes a long time to be able to start pick up those phones. I come from a sales background, and my wife does as well, and she's fantastic, and she'll take the time and train the ladies when someone comes on board. They have to be very smiley. They have to be happy, bubbly. Okay, so if you hire, let's just say, forgive me for this, if you hire an older lady that might smell like cigarettes, out of shape, that's going to cost you money. Slow down, take your time. Start with the people here at your academy, because they know the culture. A lot of them already train jiu-jitsu, so that's who you want. If that doesn't work, then hire from outside. Indeed, local people that know you is going to be ideal. And slow down. Show them the way. Don't just have them start picking up the phone calls. First impression is everything, because if they pick up the phone and they have a bad experience, they're just going to call someone else and they'll end up signing up over there. Also, your instructors, start them off slow. Don't just hire a kids instructor and just throw them in. Same thing. Background checks. Right? There's a lot of sketchy stuff going on with jiu-jitsu right now. Very inappropriate behavior. You got to do background checks on everybody. Do they fit the culture? Are they happy to be there, or are they just there for the paycheck? For us, all of our instructors have to be Gracie certified, so they have to pass the beginner program, then they have to pass the instructor program, then they got to fly down to LA and get certified under Henry and Hiron. So I actually like it. It takes almost a year for someone to teach a class here, but it's worth it. If that means you have to teach for the next year by yourself, I've done it. I've done almost 7 classes a day and then privates. You're gonna have to do it for the sake of the longevity of your business, because this almost cost us. So if I had to do it all over again, I'd teach all the classes, then bring on an assistant, and then watch him teach the classes before I let him do it on his own. All right, the last one is 7. Lucky number 7 is gonna be mentorship, a mastermind. This is very crucial for the success of your program. We can't be successful by ourselves. I've been fortunate enough to always have a mastermind and a mentor in my life to help me, because we can get our black belt and be at the top and think we're the top dog. We're not. We have blind spots. You might be a black belt in Jiu Jitsu, but you're not a black belt in business. So you're gonna have to have other people that see blind spots that are able to tell you when you're messing up. And you're gonna have to be okay with that. Just like Jiu Jitsu, when you're a white belt, you know nothing, but you didn't quit. You're still here. Same thing with business. When you mess up, or your peers can see that are more experienced than you, that can see that you're making a mistake, that you brought on the wrong person, that you can't pay rent, right? I messed up because I did have the mentorship, but I was only there on the calls, but I wasn't vulnerable. I wasn't honest. My pride and my ego got in the way. Everything's good, everything's fine. If I just let more people in and share with my sufferings and being vulnerable, they would be able to pull me out. But the best thing about this is my wife and I are running a free school community group with other business owners, jiu-jitsu ones, at all different levels, right? And we're here to collaborate and hold each other accountable. So if you want in on this, it's completely free. Just click the link below, and we share our tips and tricks in there as well, okay? So join the free mastermind group, and we do a monthly call as well. If you guys like content like this, and you want to know more of how my wife and I able to make 6 figures, take home 6 figures doing jiu-jitsu, not working a second job, not doing Uber, and not selling our soul, but doing it the right way, making 6 figures doing jiu-jitsu. So click this link here as well, and you'll be able to see how we did it, right? And get a taste of how we've done it. Love to see you there.